Hello everyone and welcome! In this video we're going to be talking about Google Slides and in particular slide transitions and object animations. Well, let's go ahead and get started. As I mentioned, we're going to be taking a look at slide transitions, the fading out or zooming in or turning around of one slide to the next and adding a little bit of spark to your presentations that way, as well as the animations of the specific objects that reside on your slides, like your text, your pictures, your lines, and so forth. Well, let's go ahead and start off by talking about transitions. And I'll start by telling you that the transition to the very first slide is going to be very boring because that's just going to bring up the very first slide. So when we're talking about transitions of slides, let's really talk about beginning at the second slide. So I'm going to click on the second slide on the left-hand side, and I'm going to click on the transition button from up on the menu bar. The other option, aside from clicking on the transition button up here, is to click on the slide option from the menu and then click on transition from the pop-down menu that occurs. Again, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about slide transitions. So that's going to be this topic right here, slide transitions, not object animations. We'll talk about that in just a minute. So currently, I've got no transition set for this slide. I'm going to change that to dissolve. I'm going to choose a medium speed, and I'm going to click play, just so we can see what it looks like. And as you can see, it transitions from the tech training demo slide to the second slide using a dissolve. And then I'm going to go ahead and click on the stop button to stop the preview of the transition. Okay, so then I'm going to go to the next slide, and I'm going to choose to animate it as well, animate its transition as well. And this time I'm going to choose cube. And I'm going to go ahead and click on play and see what that will look like. There we go. I'm going to click on stop to stop the preview, and I'm going to go ahead and click on the very first slide and click on present to see what those transitions actually look like as we're going through the presentation. I'm going to go ahead and press the right arrow on my keyboard to go from the first slide to the second slide, and as you can see, it dissolves in quite nicely. Then I'm going to press the right arrow on my keyboard again, and you'll see that I transition from the second to the third slide using a cube. I'm going to press escape on my keyboard to exit out of presentation mode. And then I'm going to show you that I can also choose to apply the cube feature, the cube transition, to all of the slides by pressing this apply to all slides button right here. I can also slow or speed up the transition using this slider right here. I'll just go ahead and select one final transition for the very last slide. I'm going to choose the second slide again because that's our most interesting slide when it comes to animations. And I'm going to go ahead and choose to animate a couple of objects on this slide now. I'm going to first of all choose to animate this object right here. So I'm going to click on it, and then I'm going to click Add Animation. And we can leave Fade In on, that's perfectly fine. And I'm going to choose to allow that to happen on click with a medium speed. Then I'm going to select a second object like this moon over here. And I'm going to choose to add an animation to the moon. In this case, I'm going to say that the moon is going to fly in from the left. And I'm going to say that this is going to happen on mouse click. I'll choose this line next and add one more animation. And I'm going to say this is going to zoom in. Okay, now if I click the preview button down here, the play preview button, that will show me what this is going to look like. So first of all, we get the transition from one slide to the next, and now on the mouse click, you can see the first image fades in. Then I'm going to click again, and the second image will fly in from the side, and then I'm going to click again, and the third image will zoom in from the center. What if I don't want those things to all happen at different times? Well, here's something really cool you can do. I'm going to go ahead and select the moon. I'm going to click on the caret to drop it down so I can change some of the settings for this moon. Right now it's set to fly in from the left on click, but I'm going to choose fly in from the left after previous. And we'll just see what that ends up looking like. I'm going to go ahead and click on play. Well, I'm going to go ahead and click, and this click should add this picture in here, should dissolve this picture in, and as soon as that picture comes in, I'm not going to click again, and I'm going to wait, and the moon should automatically fly in from the left. Let's see if that happens. So I'm going to click, and that picture fades in, and then automatically the moon flies in without me touching anything else. Now if I click one last time, our dotted line will zoom in. I'm going to click on the stop button to stop the preview, and then I'm going to choose the dotted line. I'll show you the difference with this one. If I click on the little caret here to expand the zoom in, and instead of saying on click, I'm going to select with previous. So if I've done this correctly, what should happen now is the very first time I click, this image right here of the lock should dissolve in, and as soon as that's done, the moon will zoom in or fly in from the left-hand side. At the same time, the dotted line will also zoom in. Well, let's see if that's correct because it's with previous. I'm going to go ahead and click on the play button. And once the transition of the slide happens from one to the other, I'm going to go ahead and click, and then I won't touch anything else. So I'm going to click right now. The picture fades in, and then the moon and the rope will come in at the same time. I called it the rope, but it's actually the dotted line. I can click on the stop button to stop the preview of the transition. I'm going to also show you how you can add animation to text. So I added a new slide here that's got some text on it. It's got a title and it's got some text at the bottom that's a bulleted list. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this first title up here, and I'm going to select Add Animation. And I'm going to choose to have that fly in from the top. Okay, then I'm going to select this object right here, and I'm going to choose to add an animation to it. And I'm going to have it fly in from the right on click, and I'm going to choose by paragraph and show you the difference between having that checked and not having it checked. So I'll go ahead and click on the play button right here, and then I'm going to click on my screen, and as you can see, the title flies in from the top, and then I'm going to click one more time. And as you can see, the first bulleted item flies in from the left. Then I'm going to click again, and again, and again, and each of the various different items will continue to enter because I selected that by paragraph checkbox. If, however, I uncheck by paragraph and select play again, I clicked and my title will come in, and then I'm going to click one time, and all of the items on my bulleted list enter. So that's the difference between having by paragraph checked and not having the by paragraph checkbox checked. Well, as you can see, it could take quite a bit of time depending upon the size of your presentation if you wanted to animate all of the objects in your presentation and add slide transitions. So you can choose to do this or not to do this, or to do it as you wish. Oftentimes, when I create presentations, I choose specific slides that I want to make sure I add emphasis to animate, and then the rest of them I don't. And that saves me time as I create the presentation. Well, I hope this brief tutorial on slide transitions and object animations has been helpful, and I hope you have a great day.